And here we are, back for another edition of Another Race Weekend, Canada's F1 podcast, although we might just drop that moniker because opening lap in Monaco, both the Canadians threw it in the wall.
I don't even know what to say
I think
anymore.
Latifi came on the radio and said the car just isn't turning. And I said, well, you got to turn the wheel.
Yeah, you got to turn the wheel or, slow down a bit and allow the car to turn.
Oh, man. My name is Dames, and of course, I'm joined by team manager for Pro Racing Ontario, Darryl Timbers.
Hello, Toronto.
And we're here to discuss the Monaco Grand Prix, the marathon it was. They ran out of time in the end.
Yeah.
It was eventful,
Yeah.
not really on an on-track thing, more on a strategy thing.
Yeah.
Sergio Perez comes out on top. And it's like he was listening to that Drake song
Yeah.
all week. Looking for revenge. He was out for it after the Spanish GP. He was on it all weekend. He was outperforming Max Verstappen. He takes home the win. Let's talk about his race, his weekend, and if he's an actual contender for the championship.
I think at the beginning of the season, he's always been a contender from the championship. I think the only reason he's as far behind as he is because Red Bull just keeps telling him to move over for Max. It's, it is really early in the season, and we can see that he can beat Max. He can be faster than Max, and I think Red Bull's got to realize that, something can happen. What happens if Max crashes out of 2 races all of a sudden in a row, and he's 50 points back from the leaders, and, all those points you've been taken away from Perez kind of hurts. So, I think Perez is starting to find his own in that Red Bull. I think he's actually putting on pace blow for blow with Max. Maybe on those high-speed, full commitment corners, Max has a little bit more on him, but a track like Monaco where there is no high-speed, full commitment corners.
Completely mitigated.
So I think in the end it kind of catered to Perez too, and with his strong points of that vehicle. And I honestly think he's coming to his own. I think Red Bull's got to realize that this is going to be a 1-2 battle with both their drivers, and they can't put their eggs in one basket because it might cost them in the end if and you can see it, and you saw it last year where they had such a big lead on the championship and it took 2 races to be losing again. So it's one of those situations where I think they got to realize that they need both the Red Bulls up there, just like Ferrari's not telling Sainz to get out of Leclerc's way. It is what it is at this point. They're both up there, they're both in the championship hunt, they both need constructor points. So they just, I think, would they have kept Max behind him if it was 1-2 Red Bull? I don't think so.
Really?
I think they would have
told him. You think they would have told him to move over again?
I think they would have told him to get it out of the way, because at that point, Leclerc's 4th, and he can capitalize on more points over Leclerc.
That's true, actually. Yeah, okay. So, from a strategy team and championship management
he was lucky
level,
enough to have Sainz in between them, and in the end, it helped them. I think he was outright faster than Max this weekend, and I think he could, besides at the end of the race when his tires were shot and he was barely hanging on. But it kind of catered to him because lead car always wins in Monaco.
That's true, and he hung on. He was hanging on. Sainz was threatening.
Yeah.
It's a difficult place to overtake, especially on a wet line. I think that was the crux of the whole weekend.
Yeah.
Like, the rain kind of mixed it up.
Yeah.
But it didn't mix it up in a good way because people were afraid to take the risk to overtake, because if you screw it up, then it's bang, bang, you're out of the race and it's done.
I also think they should have, but if it was a complete wet race, it would have been a little bit more, racy, I guess you can say, because they would have went offline with wet tires. But at this point, when the track starts to dry, they go from wets to inters to hards, or to mediums, or to slicks, I should say. That's when they're gonna second guess taking a dive bomb pass, because the offline is really wet still, and there's only one real lane to get around Monaco, and there already is only one real lane to get around Monaco, so it just makes it that much harder.
The dry lane is the only lane.
Yeah, exactly. If it was a little bit more wet and it was a consistent wet race, I think it would have been a little bit more exciting. But hey, it still brought for some excitement and a little mix up in the top end.
Let's stick with Red Bull for a second and go to the other side of the garage. Max Verstappen, defending world champion, still leading the Drivers' Championship at the present time, but a bit of an off weekend.
Yeah.
Just an off weekend, or?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe just one of those things where they didn't hit the setup for him. Like we've been saying all season, the car is not exactly catered to Max like all of the other cars were, right? It was his driving style. We built the car to Max. This year with the new rules and regs, they kind of catered the car to be fast, and it's like, okay, well, you guys have to learn how to drive this now. And, it kind of helps out Perez on certain tracks. And not helps him, but it caters to his driving style a little bit more, especially on the low-speed stuff that we've seen. I think it was just an off weekend. Maybe they didn't hit the setup. Maybe he just couldn't get that last 1 or 2 tenths to get to his teammate. It happens, even to the best of us. And I think he just dusts it off and takes it as I'm still leading the championship. I still got on the podium. It was still, in the end, a pretty good weekend for me. It was a good damage control weekend, I guess you can say, because, yes, he could have been off the podium, and Leclerc really and truly should have won this race if Ferrari didn't screw that whole thing up.
Right.
Which, I think he can take the positives. He still beat Leclerc. He still found himself on the podium. He was still quick enough to be pressuring second and first. So I think it was an okay weekend for him.
Still leading the championship. Overall, good points haul for the constructors as well. So Red Bull's walking out of there pretty happy. We know Sergio, he won the race and he's happy to be with the team. Yeah. But after that Spanish GP, that front flip into that swimming pool was extra sweet.
And the team carrying him out of the pool.
They were loving it. They were loving it.
He needed that.
A little bitter for the Charles Leclerc side of the garage. Is it just the Monaco curse for what is going on?
I think it's gotta be at this point. It's gotta be the Monaco curse. Hey, he finished. Thank you.
Yeah,
finally.
Yeah, that's true.
That's good. True. He finished the race. He was in the top 5. Well, finished 4th in top 5. So, but I don't know what Ferrari was thinking. I really don't. The track's drying. They can see that the intermediates are quick. They can see that it's getting to the point where slicks are going to be quick, and they pull him in, and they put him on intermediates. Okay. Cool. Be safe. Make sure that he has enough tire to do that. But then to pull him in 3 laps later and put him on slicks again, it's and then tell him, okay, box. Okay, no, don't stay out. Okay, box. Okay, stay out. And he's already in the pit lane. It's Ferrari. Bernardo, what are you doing, buddy? Who's making these decisions that it's so confusing? It's just
And Red Bull on the other side was just a clear
this is what we're doing.
Strategy. Here we go. They double stack.
Yeah.
And they and even the commentators were like, "Wait, hold on a second, what just happened?"
Yeah.
Everyone was, when it was happening, they were trying to figure it out. What just happened? How did this transpire?
And I don't know what Ferrari's doing with the strategists. We see it time and time again that we just don't understand what they're thinking. The thought process goes through them, and it's majority of the people that are in their fun are on the couch going "No, do this. What are you doing?" But these guys that are paid thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars to make these decisions are not making proper decisions. Maybe it's lost in the English to Italian translation or something. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, this is off the tail end of last week, because last week we were saying, based on history and evidence suggests, Ferrari can start well, but as the season goes on,
stuff just
starts to fall apart, right? So we're not going to say, the Spanish Grand Prix, that was unfortunate, but that's motor racing. That happens. Happened to Perez, happened to Verstappen. You know what I mean? Those kind of things happen. And for the most part, the Ferrari's been reliable thus far. But the strategy, and I understand wanting to preserve, P1 or track position at Monaco.
Yeah.
You have a number 2 driver to kind of play around with a little bit. But, they just got it both wrong. Yeah. They got both of them wrong.
It was horrible. And when you see Perez pit first, go to the tires, he's crazy faster than you, and you guys stay out another lap.
Well, even Gasly was the first one. Gasly had the only overtakes of the whole race.
He was going
on the inters, and he was running
11th or 12th, and then he started almost last.
He was running. So, man. And on the other side, I gotta say props to Carlos Sainz, because he was no, we're gonna wait until I can go straight over.
Yeah. There was no point
to slicks.
And then
in the end, he's the guy that ends up on the podium.
Yeah. And
so good on him.
Yeah, good on him.
But
for sure. It's just I don't understand why they pitted that when they knew it was getting to the points where slicks were going to get there.
Yeah.
So why pit? And then 3 laps later be like, "Oh yeah, now it's time for slicks. Let's go back in again for slicks." And then double stack them. And everything was just what
weird.
Are you doing?
it was totally weird.
Yeah,
I would hate to be in that debrief.
Oh yeah.
Because the thing about it is it's his home race, and they've screwed him so many times at his home race. A couple of years ago, he didn't come out of Q1 because they were like, no,
we're good for your time.
So as a result, he's trying to charge the field, and he crashes out. Last year, he didn't have the car to outright, compete, but somehow he managed to put it on pole. He crashed it. but even still, they didn't check it. Like, you know, so I mean, they would have taken a grid penalty. Yeah, they had to change it last year. They risked it, whatever. But he had it in the bag. Yeah, it was in the bag, and he was out in front. He had the wet. I was a little nervous because I don't know if he's a traditionally quick driver in the wet. Yeah, but he showed you around Monaco, like
he knows what he's doing.
He knows.
He was gone. He was slowly checking out, and Ferrari just keeps costing wins to him. Like, they're costing him the championship right now.
At least 50 points in the last 2 races, right? And that's a big point haul. I mean, he's stuck, I think, 9 or 10 points on Verstappen now. But if Verstappen finishes 3rd at Monaco and he wins, like, it's just, it's a lot. And we know early days in the season, but these kind of things can snowball. Not to mention Perez is in the mix heavy now. Like,
Sainz is coming right there with him, his teammate. So it's one of those situations where it could get. It can get pretty testy later on in the season, that's for sure. But just because of, with the Red Bull reliability, it could happen at any point where that Red Bull is going to let go, and there goes 25 points again, and it brings everything back. Ferrari's reliability has been pretty strong right now. Knock on wood, it's been pretty good. But yeah, Ferrari just.
He's infuriated. Yeah, he's infuriated for sure.
I don't feel bad. I don't feel bad for Ferrari at all with Leclerc being mad at him. Like, they deserve that. Like,
and he's a class act. Yep. And when I heard him on the radio and it was bleeped, I said, "Oh!"
And like aggressive bleeps, and it was just like, "Oh yeah, well, he has a reason for that." And I don't know why Ferrari just can't put it together. It's like, in the Schumacher era, it was like they couldn't put a step wrong, and this era of Ferrari, it's weird. It's like the past, since Schumacher has been around, and since they won with Raikkonen and those championships that were hard fought, they put everything together. But ever since the Vettel era of Ferrari, they've just been doing horrible decisions. And we thought that this year was a new change, but I don't understand. Sorry, Ferrari fans, but I don't understand why this team is making such bad judgment calls.
They gotta pull up their socks.
Yes,
I
agree.
We've been critical of Mercedes in the past for kind of the same thing in regards to like pit stop strategy, just playing it a little too safe. Yeah, you know what I mean. Even the final race of 2021, we understand track position. He could have pit Lewis, but this time around, it seems like Mercedes, they have to roll the dice a little bit. George Russell is clearly the stud. In that team right now. I mean, every race. Top 5. Yeah. Reliability is there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And he's in the mix with points. Not as close as, let's say, a Perez or Leclerc at the top. But, 1 or 2 races.
Yeah. If they can get it to turn around where they can start battling for poles and podiums, not even, the wins, just to get the consistent podiums. If he keeps, in the car he's in now, if he keeps top 5 in, obviously he's going to be in the top 5 for points. But if he can get a bunch of straight podiums from here on, he can be right in the battle for the top 3 of the championship, no problem, because everyone else has had bad races and he's not at this point, knock on wood.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. And that's what it takes, right? That level of consistency can pay dividends because we haven't seen the racing get chippy yet. I mean, we've been saying it, we've been waiting for it, and it's still not really there. Yep. Yeah. Like there are no dive bombs, and there's nobody's turning in. It's been very respectable racing, which we are a fan of. But at some point, it's gonna happen. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
If this happens, where I think if Ferrari puts a little bit together and then leapfrogs Max for another points lead, and if they start going back and forth, they're going to start getting more and more frustrated of losing the points, then gaining the points, then losing the points, and then it's going to start you're going to start seeing it on the track a lot more. I think right now there's a lot of respect between Max and Leclerc. They've grown up together racing against each other. They've had their conflicts as kids. They've had their conflicts as cars.
Their incidents.
Yeah, incidents. But, it's one of those situations where they just, I think, once the pot boils over, it's going to be gloves off. But right now, it's just a little steam coming out of it.
yeah, it's just boiling, man. We're still in the early phases of this season. Shouts out to George Russell, though. He's just doing the best he can with what he's been given. Yeah. And we thought they turned the corner in Spain. It didn't quite look like that this weekend.
Yeah, I think the car was there. I just think it was more... I think the car was better. I shouldn't say there because it's better for the Mercedes. Even there was a spark from Hamilton throughout the race where he was picking up pace and he was I think if he didn't have such a bad qualifying and he wasn't stuck behind that little mid-pack there, not the mid-pack, not stuck behind the mid-pack, but like the later half of the top 10, I think he could have, been there with George. But I think, again, it's Monaco. With these new age cars being so wide and so long, you can see when Gasly was seconds faster.
Yeah. But he couldn't do anything. He got a few overtakes done, but and then Hamilton tried to move on Ocon. Yeah. Ocon ended up getting a penalty for that. Yeah. Hamilton just got stuck behind Alonso, who was literally out for a Sunday cruise. Yeah. What the hell was going on there?
I don't know. It just seemed like he had no spark.
But then all of a sudden he took off and he set the fastest lap of the race.
Like, I don't know.
What is that?
That's I think at that point you're not confident in the car enough when the tricky track conditions, but it's Alonso and he kind of just drives around anything. So I don't know. I don't know what happened to him.
I don't know,
he was just sitting there.
To me, that looked really bad on first of all, the venue, Monaco, because they've been talking about let's be honest, it's a heritage race. It's an event. Yep. But as far as the racing goes, it's a dud. Yeah. We only like watching it because we know we're supposed to like watching it. But in reality, that's 2 overtakes from one guy. Yeah. Who just switched on to
I agree. I totally agree. And the fact that you saw it with Gasly when he was trying to come through the field and he is going almost around the outside of hairpins, which is unheard of when you're driving on a racetrack, and almost making it work. And he literally passed by power down, just getting grip out of a corner, and the other cars were sliding still. Yeah. That's how he was able. It wasn't passing going into a corner, braking. No. It wasn't setting up for a nice move. It was just
hot rubber.
Yeah, okay, I'm just going to grip and go out of the corner better for him. Yeah. And this is why I was kind of hoping that Leclerc can get this win, because I don't know how long this race is going to be on the ground.
Right. Well, they don't have a contract for next year.
That's why I was really hoping he can get this win, because it would be, it's such a heritage race. There's so much history behind this race, and to be born in Monaco and to win that race would be huge for his own self-esteem. And we all wanted to see it. But I don't know if it's going to be here next year.
You really think they're going to get rid of it?
Honestly, with the racing the way it is, unless they go to a smaller car, yeah, I do. It's
Vegas is the new Monaco.
They could be. That could be why they brought it there, right? But also Miami could be the new Monaco.
Miami's
pricing
it was pretty much
ridiculous.
Yeah.
How much it was to go to Miami, prestigious race, that the amount of celebrities that were there, the amount of money that was spent that weekend. That was what Monaco was every year going into this season.
And still is. It's an event.
But Miami took them over for prices. Right. For ticket prices, for venues, for everything. Miami was the bread and butter this year.
And the race was kind of...
Same way.
Same way, man. Same way. So, it's one of those things, man.
I don't want to see it go, but I know.
But the other part is, we like street circuits, but at the same time, the street circuits don't provide good races. These cars are so big and so fast, they need to be at proper racetracks in order to get proper races.
What they should do is maybe get that machine from Honey, I Shrunk the Kid and shrink the cars down a little bit, just for the one race. Just flick a switch, shrink the cars down, go race them. Okay, let's bring them back to normal size now.
Oh, man. I know. I mean, it's on the table. We don't know, like you said. Yeah, I never thought about that aspect of it with Leclerc being front. This might have been his last chance.
This might have. Yeah.
In the last 2 years, he put it on pole and he just couldn't get it done, which is just crazy. And last year, I'll say through fault of his own, he crashed the car. Yes. This year, through no fault of his own, just really, really poor strategy and poor communication too, right? Because it's come in. No, it's whoa, I'm already...
I'm in the pit lane.
Yeah.
If they do keep Monaco on this on the calendar, if for somehow they can... move the barriers out a little bit more, but there's, I don't know. It's weird because everyone loves Monaco. Everyone wants to go to Monaco to watch the F1 race.
Well, they want to win.
Yes.
All the drivers, they don't want to race there. Yeah. They just want to win.
They want to have that on their resume.
They just want to win. That's almost like winning a championship in itself.
It is. It is. And I really do hope that something happens. Maybe they can, maybe make the cars smaller. But that at that point, you're catering to the cars to one track. You know what I mean? You're catering to make the cars racier at small, tight circuits like Monaco. But
how many of those are on the calendar?
You go to a place like Coda, the car's going to look like this big on the track, right? It's such a big facility. I don't know. I think F1's got a lot of sitting down and talking to do to realize that the new H car, yeah, it is big. I think they can shrink it. I really do. I think they can make it smaller. The cars back in, the early 2000s were a lot smaller than these cars. Yes, they had V12s on them, but I'm pretty sure they can make the aero just as fast as these cars. So
come on, man. Look what they're doing right now.
Exactly. So they
have the tech to go back to the old tech.
Exactly. All they keep doing right now is like, we're doing all this. It's going to probably slow the car down. And then they show up to the first race and it's like, oh, we broke the track record again.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Before we get into overwhelmed, underwhelmed, and surprised, what I will say is, Monaco provided a great last 10 minutes of the race. Yes. We saw Sainz closing up on Perez.
It was four people
Verstappen, and they were, and it looked like a
Briggs race. Yeah,
it looked like a Briggs race. And had it not been for the overtake scenario, you might have been able to see some real action there. Like Sainz nearly binned it a couple times because he was going so deep into that hairpin, just trying. It was kind of exciting, but at the same time, you knew nothing was going to happen. Yeah. So. Whatever, man. Overwhelmed, underwhelmed, surprise.
So I'm very happy for Perez. So I'm gonna say he overwhelmed me.
Checo.
Yeah, he was there. Like he was on point. He didn't put his steering wheel wrong. He maybe locked up like everyone else once in a while, but he was there to capitalize on everything and show Red Bull why he was there to be the second driver. Hopefully, maybe we'll switch it towards a equal driver sooner or later,
Yeah, you never know.
This is the year of 2020, people. We have to be equal.
Don't get me started on that. But no, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, the points are the points are there, and he could do it.
Yeah,
he's in the running to become the champion.
What happens if Leclerc and Max are starting to get testy with each other? They take each other out. Perez is right there with that 25 points, right?
Yeah,
so it's one of those things. You got to watch him. He's definitely there. Underwhelmed. We spoke Alonso. Like, what were you doing? Just sitting there in this whole thing. Like, you're just kind of there. Hey, how you doing? I'm driving. I'm in the top 10. I don't know.
But I don't even know. I don't know what to say about it. So, like, he was 3 seconds a lap slower than and the conditions at that point weren't really that testy. No. Like, I don't know what he was doing other than, this beef he has with Hamilton from like 15 years ago. He just doesn't want to let that go. But at the same time, he's compromising Ocon's race.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like he knew. They all knew. Because Ocon was on the radio like, yo, tell him to speed up, man. I have a penalty. Like, and then you cost yourself, small points, but you cost your team points. So, who knows what that debrief is?
I was about to say, that debrief was probably a little bit frustrated. And Ocon probably had a couple words for him to be like, man, I don't know what you got going on with that, but maybe next time hold him up so I can get by and then
play your do
games.
Whatever you got to do. Yeah,
what you were doing was not the greatest thing for the team. So, surprised. I was happy to see Norris up there. It was surprising to see him stay up there. I know it's Monaco. I know it's hard to pass. I know. There's a lot of variables to keep you in that spot for Monaco. But, to see Norris, keep hacking away at that car, getting used to it. Ricciardo's just struggling.
Yeah, the McLaren garage is kind of weird right now. That's for sure. Like,
they're definitely, Ricciardo's got to watch it. He's on the chopping block. And unless he comes up with a couple of unbelievable performances in the second half of this season, I don't see him in a McLaren seat next year.
Monaco Grand Prix in the books. We get a couple weeks off. Yes. Azerbaijan coming up, another street circuit. Max was going there good last year till a tire blowout.
Yep.
Long straightaway.
Long straightaway.
I don't see anybody but a Red Bull winning there.
No, not with the straight line speed they have. Honestly, unless Ferrari comes out with something to, like an upgrade to help them on that front straight, there's no way that anyone's going to stop that. The Red Bull, they are way too strong on the straightaways, and their slipstreams are, But I can see maybe Perez getting in there and battling it out with his teammate now that he's come off the Monaco win.
Yep,
I hope he does, and I hope that Red Bull lets him do what he needs to do.
And we look forward to discussing the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Of course, you can watch it here on YouTube or take us on the go via the podcast version. It's available on all your DSPs, the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon. You name it, we are there. For Darryl Timmers, Dames Nellas saying farewell until next time.